I got to ask you, Dave, the other night we were both there when LeBron broke the record, which was pretty incredible. We'll get to that in a second, but we're in the Laker locker room and, LeBron's kids are in the locker room and I see them both wearing Jordan 4s. And Dave, for guys like you and me who love our retro Air Jordan kicks, number one, and they were pretty sweet. But number two, I mean, it was just too much for me to read into. I'm like, come on, man. I'm so caught up in one of these guys. I'm all about the GOAT argument between Michael and LeBron. And LeBron's kids were wearing Air Jordans. I mean, it was just too much for me to handle. What did you make of that?
I noticed it too. And I guess you could say maybe one would do that if they are so secure in their father's standing that.
Wait, you're saying they're trolling MJ? They're
not necessarily trolling, but like if we as a James family don't even think it's a conversation, think obviously dad is number one, then we can wear number two's cool sneakers. Like, no skin off our back.
Number two. We're referring to Michael's number two now.
Well, I am putting myself in the narration of the James family, just to be clear. I am not offering my personal opinion on number one, number two.
I mean, is it uncool for to wear your dad's shoes? Maybe is that the thing? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. But I do have a sneaker story from that night. After the game, obviously everyone was talking about Phil Knight afterwards, the Nike CEO, because when LeBron hit the shot, he's sitting next to Bryce James and Bronny James and Phil Knight, everyone behind him, everyone in the arena, myself included. I had to cop to it because I'm trying to capture this video I can share with fans online, has their phone out for the moment. There's Phil Knight, cool as a cucumber, just taking in the memory, living through his own eyes rather than a second screen experience. Very cool. But afterwards, we're going through the tunnel of crypto.com arena and Rich Paul happens upon Phil Knight and he's going for the hug and Rich goes, hey, before I can see you look at my shoes, before you say anything, I'm not wearing my New Balance. Of course, Rich Paul has the signature pair of New Balance sneakers, which is pretty rare for an agent. I think probably the only agent ever to have his own sneakers, but he got ahead of it. He didn't want to get any guff from Phil Knight for not wearing the swoosh for a big night for his guy, who's one of the most consequential Nike athletes in the history of the company. And so I thought that was kind of funny. Rich was wearing like some sort of leather boots. He was wearing a leather pants, leather jacket. Only Rich Paul could pull that off.
Look, man, Rich Paul is on a different level now. I mean, he was sitting there at the table at the Grammys in the front with Adele. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Rich Paul is on a completely different level than everybody else right now. Kudos to Rich Paul living out a dream that I'm sure nobody could have ever imagined of ever living that kind of life. But one thing back to Phil Knight not holding the phone up, dude. There's going to be, he's going to have the commercial on it coming out. You know what I mean? Like Nike's going to have the commercial. He don't need that. Like he probably got filmmakers filming that are going to send him that moment anyways. Kudos to him though, living in the moment. There's so many of us that don't do that enough. You know what I mean? And it makes me think like at my own wedding, for example, there are pictures you can see of us standing there doing our vows. And my mom can't even see my mom's face because her phone is in front of her face the entire time. So a lot of people, it's good that they were living. And a lot of people didn't even know that was Phil Knight, by the way,
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.